Hello everyone, this is Heavy Parabeetle. Today's video is part 3 of a series of tutorials about Tinker's Construct 3 for 1.18.2. This video covers the smeltery and alloying, topics covered in Mighty Smelting. The mod pages can be found in the description. Parts 1 and 2 were an introduction to the mod. Once you know how it all works, stuff gets a bit more advanced. The Tinker's Anvil is an upgraded version of the Tinker Station. It has 5 slots which allows more modifier recipes, can make and modify broad tools, and lets you rename tools whenever you change something. It can only be made with storage blocks of tier 3 and higher materials. Again, you'll need lots of seared stone for what's to come. Fortunately, there's an easier way to make them this time. 2 bricks worth of molten clay casting onto stone, cobblestone, or most things made of stone will turn it into the seared stone equivalent. The smeltery and all of its topics are covered in Mighty Smelting. The book is made by casting 1 brick worth of molten seared stone onto a book. The smeltery isn't that different from the melter. However, it has some few extra things to boast. It holds 12 ingots for every block of interior space, can hold multiple types of fluids, can alloy fluids, and can melt mobs. It has a few drawbacks, however. It is vastly more expensive than a melter, is less compact, and consumes more fuel. The larger the smeltery, the more fuel it consumes. To get started on the Mighty Smeltery, make a smeltery controller. This is where you manually insert items and rearrange fluids. A smeltery is not valid without the smeltery controller. It is made by casting 4 ingots worth of molten copper onto any seared stone block. A smeltery also needs some stuff to be useful. A tank is required as the smeltery only accepts liquid fuel, and seared drains are required to get fluids out of it. Since the Mighty Smeltery can store multiple fluids, some fluids may combine. This is a process known as alloying. Some materials require hotter fuel to alloy. The smeltery GUI is very similar to the melters, with some changes. The amount of items that can be melted at once depends on the interior space of the smeltery, and the fluid tank can display multiple fluids, which are stacked on top of each other. The bottommost fluid will be able to be pulled out by seared drains. There are lots of blocks that can be used for a smeltery. Seared tanks are very good for storing fluids. Ingot tanks hold 48 ingots worth of fluid, and fuel tanks hold 4 buckets. Tanks in smelteries will be registered as fuel containers. Tanks cannot be used for the floor of a smeltery. There are many seared blocks. Most stone blocks have seared counterparts that can be used in a smeltery. These are also useful for decorating your base. Seared ladders allow you to climb up and down a smeltery, useful if you want to build it bigger or if you want to throw mobs inside it. Seared glass allows you to clearly see through a smeltery and look at the fluids inside. It cannot be used as a floor for a smeltery. Seared drains act as fluid interfaces for the smeltery. The bottommost fluid will be the one to be pulled out, indicated by the fluid inside the drain. Other mods' fluid transportation systems can be used on drains. Seared ducts act as fluid interfaces that will only pull out specific fluids. These are filtered by placing a bucket or copper can containing the desired fluid inside of them. Seared chutes act as item interfaces for the smeltery. Items can be inserted or taken from here. Other mods' transportation systems also work here. The Mighty Smeltery can be used to melt entities alive, creating fluid. If an entity is inside of the smeltery, it will be melted if there is fuel. Almost every mob can be melted, though some will give better results than others. There is an alternative nether side grade of the smeltery, the foundry. The foundry, alloyer, and hotter fuels are covered in the book Fantastic Foundry. It is made with nether grout and a book. That is all I have for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching this series so far. There's still a lot more to come, so stay tuned, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.